Hi, and welcome to the first of my series detailing the Archon quests in Genshin Impact. I will be covering each act and interlude acts of the Archon quests, character story quests, and world quests as well. I will also possibly try to cover each commission type and such too. Each of these will be their own series, and commissions will likely be shorts, as well as small world quests. Also note that these videos will not be released on a set schedule. So before we begin, I'd like to give us thanks to our sponsor. Wait, we don't have a sponsor. So basically, our story begins with this.
So, what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world? But when you wanted to leave and go on to the next world, your path was blocked by some unknown god?
Outlanders, your journey ends here. Who are you? The sustainer of heavenly principles. The arrogation of mankind ends now.
Man, I don't know about you, but the intro here with the music just gives me chills. Anyway, so if you've played Genshin Impact before, you probably know this scene. It's the first one we see before the game really even begins. As you just heard, the story starts with a voice implying these two people are travelers from another world who wanted to leave. This for reasons we do not know yet. We see then that as they are leaving, a person who goes by the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles blocks their path, calls them arrogant, and then proceeds to attack them. Immediately, the two manifest wings and a sword and move in to attack the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles. Now, here I chose the girl, even though technically I believe that the canon option is the boy, but I don't care, I like playing as Lumine. Also, I chose the name Somnia Bat as that's my name, but as you'll see in a short bit, I immediately changed the name to Lumine as that's her canon name. Lumine calls out to Aether just before he is absorbed into some Minecraft cubes by the Sustainer. And if you'll notice, the Sustainer tried to do this to Lumine, however she dodges just in time. Aether clearly did not. Lumine immediately attacks when a large explosion erupts, which quickly turns into more cubes from the Sustainer, absorbing her into them as the screen fades to black. Lumine says the Sustainer, this god,
like that,
took Aether, who we now know is her brother, and cast a seal on Lumine, taking away her powers.
Cast upon me,
she also states that they are from another world and pass through them and travel between worlds. However, she is now stuck on this one.
Here.
You'll notice I enunciated travel. We'll see why in a bit.
How many years ago was it? I don't know. But I intend to find out. After I awoke, I was all alone. Right up until I met you 2 months ago.
Yeah, Paimon really owes you for that. Otherwise, Paimon likely would have drowned. So Paimon will do her best to be a great guide.
Lumine states that this was years ago. However, she did not know how many, and found this little, fairy creature 2 months ago by fishing her out of the water. Why they didn't explore the area and find the nearby town, I do not know. Cue here the tutorial, as well as me changing her name to Lumine. Now is a good time to mention through these videos I will always be using Lumine as my main party member, with the element for whatever nation I am working through. We also learn from the subtitles that the fairy creature is known as Paimon.
Okay, let's take the route we planned.
Who says we are going to a Statue of the Seven.
It's a statue of the Seven!
As we can see, statues of the Seven have large beams of light which emit from them like a beacon. Ignore my cursor, I turn that off soon.
There are a few of these statues scattered across the land to show the Seven's protection over the world. Among the 7 gods, this god controls the wind. Paimon's not sure whether the god you're looking for is the animal god, but Paimon will take you to the animal god's place first, and there's a reason why.
She then says we are looking for the Animo god in the nearby city and proceeds to glitch on a rock flying in circles. Upon touching the statue, it glows blue and gives some sort of ball of light to Lumine, as well as revealing a portion of the map to us.
Ooh, did you just feel the elements of the world? Seems all you had to do was just touch the statue and you got the power of Animo. As much as they may want it, people in this world can never get a hold of powers as easily as you. It's because you're not from this world to begin with. If we keep heading west from here, we'll eventually reach Mondstadt, the city of freedom. Mondstadt is the city of wind because they worship the god of Animo. So perhaps, because you got power from the god of Animo, you can find some clues there. There are also lots of bards there, so perhaps one of them has heard news of your brother. Let's move then! The elements in this world responded to your prayers, and Paimon thinks that's a lovely sign.
Paimon states we got the power of Animo, or wind, from that, due to us not being from this world. She also says the city we are going to is Mondstadt, the city of wind. As we walk towards the nearby woods, we see a large blue dragon fly over us, going in the same direction, to which Paimon asks, "What is that?" It's a dragon, Paimon.
Huh? Look at that!
Entering the woods, we see a cutscene play out, in which a man clad in green is speaking to the dragon we just saw, now landed in the woods.
Don't be afraid. It's all right now. I'm back.
Is he talking to a dragon?
Something sort of bursts in Lumine, which startles the dragon.
Who's there?
Prompting the man to ask who's there before teleporting away. The dragon flies away.
Just what was that? Paimon thought we were gonna get eaten. It definitely has something to do with that weirdo who was talking to the dragon. Of course not. Oh, what's that? There's some kind of shiny red thingy on the big rock over there. Let's go take a closer look. Be careful! Paimon doesn't have a good feeling about this. Paimon's never seen a stone like this before, so Paimon can't tell what it is. All Paimon knows is that it's dangerous. Best we put it away for now.
Then Lumine and Paimon notice a red, glowing crystal nearby. Lumine takes the crystal after Paimon says it's dangerous. Seems smart though, it's okay, I'm sure.
Hey, you! Stop right there!
Leaving the woods, we are stopped by a girl in red, who accosts us, then says, "May the Anima God protect you," and introduces herself as Amber, before immediately becoming sus of us and calling Paimon a mascot. She then stops being sus of us, and says that she'll escort us to the city, saying it's dangerous with the dragon about. She then switches back to sus, after saying she's out here for another reason and that she'll protect us. Amber, make up your mind. We point this out, then Amber apologizes and calls us strange yet respectable travelers. Evidently, that's just something the Knights of Favonius say to strangers. After this dialogue, we are able to play as Amber as well. I apologize for using her as long as I do. I just need a pyro or fire character for shielded mid-trolls.
So, suspicious travelers, what are you doing in Mondstadt?
She got separated from her brother during a really long journey. Paimon is her travel buddy, helping her to find her brother.
Oh, looking for your family? Huh. Okay, let me finish my other stuff first, and then I can help you put up posters around the city.
Paimon tells Amber that Lumine is looking for her brother, and Amber says she will help us put up missing person posters around town after finishing what she needs to do. Amber brings us over to a hilichurl camp to wipe out, saying that that was what she needed to do outside the city.
Nothing to it. Though I've gotta say, you surprised me a little with your moves there. Thanks for the backup. How'd it feel?
Now that you mention it, how is it the hilichurls ended up here? These creatures don't seem like the type to set up camps so close to cities like this.
Exactly. It's more normal for them to be much further out in the wilderness. But because the dragon, Storm Terror, has been around a lot more recently, our orchards have been destroyed and the local market has been affected as well. When the storms hit, we usually end up with at least a few injuries, so the Knights of Favonius have been tied up doing the best they can to defend the area.
So these annoying creatures have been getting closer and closer to the city?
Exactly. That said, clearing this camp helped make the area a little bit safer. Come with me. A responsible knight must make sure to see you to the city safely.
Paimon implies that this is unusual for hilichurls, which Amber agrees with, saying that it seems that with the dragon Storm Terror being present, hilichurls have been setting up camp nearer to cities. Walking to town, Paimon notices someone cooking by a fire, remarking that it smells good. This is something that will be explored in a later video.
Let me officially introduce the city of wind, dandelions, and freedom. Travelers under the protection of the Knights of Favonius, welcome to Mondstadt.
Finally, no more having to camp outdoors. But the city folk don't look too cheery.
Everyone's been put out of place by Storm Terror recently. But everything will turn out fine as long as Jean's with us.
Jean?
Acting Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, Jean, Defender of Mondstadt. With Jean on our side, surely even the vicious Storm Terror will be no match for us. Before I take you guys to the Knights of Favonius headquarters, I have a present for you, traveler. It's a reward for helping me clear out that hilichurl camp.
Amber welcomes us to the city, and Paimon remarks that we don't have to camp outdoors anymore, then points out that the citizens don't look very well, which Amber attributes to Storm Terror. She mentions Jean, acting Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, singing praises of her. She then states she has a gift for Lumine. While walking to the spot Amber wants us to, she says the city isn't bustling as usual, which, by the way, this is how it will look from now on pretty much. So I don't really know why they bothered including that line, implying there will be more people outside later.
So, the present I want to give you is a wind glider.
We reach the spot Amber wanted to go, and she gives us a wind glider, which, as you would expect, lets us glide around from high ground. Upon gliding down to Amber, a cutscene plays.
The sky.
As you could see, Lumine got swept up by a tornado. Also, I find it interesting that Storm Terror is shown to be extremely destructive and even causes debris to fly off a building, yet there's no damage anywhere.
Huh? How are you staying afloat like this with just a wind glider?
I'm preventing your fall with the power of 1,000 winds. Now, concentrate. See yourself grasping the wind. Harness its energy.
Who said that?
You hear a voice saying that Lumine is being lifted by them using the power of 1,000 winds, and Lumine uses that power to shoot at Storm Terror while in pursuit.
Are you hurt?
You've actually got the power to go up against the dragon. Are you a new ally? Or a new storm?
Upon landing, a man with an eye patch approaches us, slowly clapping, and asks us, rhetorically, if we are friend or foe.
Storm Terror is attacking Mondstadt itself! Kaya, Traveler, you've come at the right time. We must...
Hold on, Amber. Are you perhaps forgetting to introduce us?
Oh, right. This is Kaya, our cavalry captain. These two are travelers from afar.
From afar. Is that all we know of them?
Long story short...
I see. Welcome to Mondstadt. Though you haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. I understand the anguish of being separated from family. I'm not really sure why you're looking for the Animo God. But everyone has their secrets, right? Relax. I won't press you for more. First and foremost, on behalf of the Knights of Favonius, I would like to extend our thanks to you for your help just now. Your fight to defend the city against the dragon just now was witnessed by no small number of citizens. The acting Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius is also very interested in meeting you, and formally invites you both to our headquarters.
Amber calls the man Kaya and the cavalry captain before explaining who Lumine is and that she is looking for the Animo God. Kaya then chooses not to ask why we want to see the Animo God and says that Jean wants to meet with us.
Jean, what's the hurry? I thought we agreed to meet them here.
There have been sightings of Storm Terror outside the city. Once we meet, we must...
Relax. I'll lend a hand when the time comes.
Jean, I've brought them.
We are shown Jean and a witch, who talk shortly about the troubles of Storm Terror. We arrive at Jean's office and are met by Jean, who introduces us to Lisa, the librarian. Lisa flirts a bit and then tells us that Mondstadt is in danger due to Storm Terror, who has returned and put Mondstadt's elemental resonance at an imbalance, essentially. Jean asks us to stay in Mondstadt until the Storm Terror issue is resolved, to which we say that we would like to help out as well. Jean says Lisa has found the sources of Storm Terror's power, which are located in the now abandoned Four Winds temples. Jean says we are to deal with 3 of the 4 temples, and implies that there is good reason why not all 4. I immediately pull on Noelle's banner and get her and Razor, who I will be using for a while.
There's a chance there's a monster nest or hilitrol camp inside. Even Storm Terror has given up on its own temple. Yes. I also find it hard to accept, but Storm Terror was once one of the 4 winds.
Huh?
Wait, did you just feel that? The wind here. Something's off. Let's go in and take a look. Be careful. The dragon's power is disturbing this area.
First, we head into the Temple of the Falcon and meet up with Amber. Amber tells us there's possibly hilichurls and such inside, then tells us Storm Terror was once one of the Four Winds. Jumping through this bit, as it's standard domain for the most part where nothing important happens, we get to the end of the temple. Jumping in real quick to say that Amber's skill explosive is called Baron Bunny.
Dragon's breath! Is that where the power's coming from? Great, let's smash it! Phew, I'm tired. But at least this way we've helped Jean out. In the past, we were at least able to defend the city and keep it safe. This, of course, is mostly thanks to Jean. But now with Storm Terror directly attacking the city itself, the winds change, so too should our tactics. It's what Lisa likes to say. Speaking of which, the Four Winds we were discussing earlier, if you want to learn more about our history, you can ask Lisa. I'm not saying I don't know our history, it's just... I mean, a librarian is supposed to be more knowledgeable than an outrider, right?
At the end, Amber calls the stone we destroy Dragon's Breath. Amber tells us that if we want to learn more about the Four Winds and the history of Mondstadt, that we can talk to Lisa, making the excuse that Lisa is a librarian and is supposed to be more knowledgeable than her, an outrider, of which Amber is the only one, by the way.
You've arrived. Come closer. Can you smell that? Something must have happened in the temple. I imagine there will be slimes, hilichurls, and whatever's giving Storm Terror extra power. Oh yes, it is going to be lively in there indeed. As bustling as it may be, no, I can't imagine it will be dangerous at all. It's a pity that the Temple of the Wolf has been disturbed by such an atrocity. Let's head in. No one makes offerings to the Four Winds anymore, yet the old winds never vanish. We need to clear out the temples for the Four Winds.
Next, we find Kaya at the Temple of the Wolf. Kaya greets us, noting that there is a smell of burning slimes from within the temple, and it will likely not be dangerous, really. At the start, Kaya points out that we can control elemental energy, despite not having a vision, like most everyone else who can do that. By the way, the stones that do things like make it rain are called amber, such as hydro amber. Kaya also points out here that Storm Terror was one of the Four Winds. Kaya also points out here that Storm Terror was one of the Four Winds and says we can ask Jean for more details.
Bravo! What a performance! You are, to my surprise, a well-trained knight. The battles you just fought were sights to behold. I see you already have the knightly virtue of modesty. Stories of your heroic deeds to save Mondstadt from destruction shall be known throughout the City of Freedom, well into the future. Please do visit me at our headquarters when you have the time. I also know a lovely tavern, if that's more your thing. Quite rewarding, no?
We've seized another temple from Storm Terror's grasp.
I can take care of the rest here. You go take care of other things while I'm at it.
See you later then, bye-bye.
There's no way hilichurls organized an ambush like this themselves, not with their limited mental capacity. Thus you were behind this.
After destroying the Dragon's Breath here, Kaya congratulates and compliments us. Kaya tells us he can handle the rest from here, so Lumine and Paimon leave, before we see a creature come out from behind a pillar evidently watching us. Kaya expects this, stating that hilichurls could not have organized something like this, deducing that this creature was behind it.
Knights of Favonius, Always so inefficient.
Agree to disagree, but your involvement in this just made things a whole lot more interesting.
Almost immediately after, a man with pyro abilities bursts in and absolutely destroys the creature. The man remarks that the Knights of Favonius are inefficient, to which Kaya remarks back that this man's sudden involvement makes all of this much more interesting for him. Clearly, there is some sort of tension here. Once we meet Lisa at the Temple of the Lion, we ask her what a librarian does. She tells us that it's things that require things other than brain or bronze, whatever that means. At the start, we come across something called an Electro Monument, activated by, you guessed it, Electro. We'll come across these things a lot on our journey, for various elements.
You're kidding. You're seriously asking? This is a vision. It's used by the Chosen to draw on elemental powers. In terms of mysticism, I suppose you could call it a magical lightning rod.
Lisa explains that visions are used by the Chosen to draw on elemental abilities like a lightning rod, sort of.
Dragon of the East, Lion of the South, Wolf of the North, Falcon of the West. They are the four winds of Mondstadt, affiliated with Barbados, the god of Anemo. The Dragon of the East, Storm Terror, its real name is Dvalin. Though most in Mondstadt seem to have forgotten that in all this Storm Terror business. So now you know why Dvalin is only able to channel 3 of the four winds' power. Because it has been consuming itself from the beginning. Because of hatred, I presume.
Hatred?
Hatred for Mondstadt. Hatred drove it to become something more powerful than the wind itself. To become Storm Terror.
But why would one of the four winds hate the city it was supposed to protect?
As a child of Mondstadt, it's something that's really hard to say aloud. Here, take this. It's a very old story from more than a century ago.
At the end, Lisa lists off the dragon, lion, wolf, and falcon. These are the four winds of Mondstadt connected to the Anemo Archon Barbados. She also tells us that Storm Terror's real name is Dvalin, and that he uses only 3 of the four winds' powers because it's been drawing on itself anyway. She says that Storm Terror was created from Dvalin due to hatred for Mondstadt. Lisa gives us a storybook which tells us a story about the four winds. Basically, this book tells us that the lion of the Lion Fang / Dandelion Knight liberated Mondstadt. Then the Knights of Favonius were formed with the falcon of the Knights of Favonius, which the wolf of the Knight of Boreas then joined. Gradually, people began worshipping the four winds. However, Dvalin predated the other 3. About 100 years ago, darkness spread, contaminating the land, and barbarians and creatures roamed, forcing people into the city walls. The Lion Fang Knight was without an heir, and the knights had lost many people during the wars. Another corrupted dragon, Durin, began attacking Mondstadt. The Mondstadt people prayed to their Archon, and he summoned Dvalin to battle Durin, whose remains now lie atop the mountain to the south. Eventually, the belief in the four winds faded, and the temples lie now deserted. We see the sky and such return to normal after all of this in Mondstadt.
Well, all that lay, flow, and elemental line stuff Lisa was going on about should hopefully be back to normal. Want to go back and see how the knights are doing? But if you got anything more interesting to do, Paimon can come too. By the way, we obtained another Animalculus in one of the Four Winds temples, right? We might come across more of them in the future, so don't forget to offer them to the statues.
Paimon then suggests we go back to the knights, but notes that we obtained an Animalculus in the temple. This leads to a short quest where you give the Animoculus to a statue of the Seven, which I forgot to record as I didn't recognize that as a quest. When you do that, basically Paimon says that other people gather animoculi, physical manifestations of the wind, and give them to statues of the Seven for blessings. She states that we should do that with as many as we can find to gain blessings and boons from the statues. As of now, this quest is over and leads directly into the next act, if you so choose. Hi everyone, I just wanted to pop in here at the end to say thanks so much for watching. It really means a lot if you got this far. I also wanted to say that I stream on Twitch on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and most Saturdays. If you enjoyed this video and my calm demeanor, you may also enjoy my streams. Again, thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe as well, or a comment to tell me what you thought. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Bye everyone!